Hello and welcome. This is from the CBN. We bring to you weekly reports and expert analysis of the actions, policies, and economic initiatives of the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN. I am William Dada. The construction of the National Arts Theatre was completed in 1976 to host the Festival of Arts and Culture, known as Festac 77. The edifice is currently undergoing complete renovation to restore it to its former glory and to host international events. New structures are also to be built around it to serve as a creative hub for the teeming Nigerian youth in music, movie, IT, and fashion industries. Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Mr. Godwin Emefiele, and other stakeholders paid a visit to Igomu, where the National Theatre is situated, over the weekend. And we have details of that visit for you in today's package. Also, we have excerpt of the Central Bank of Nigeria's recently held seminar for finance correspondents and business editors in Akure as part of its capacity building efforts. But first, here are the top stories from the Apex Bank this week. The Central Bank of Nigeria has advised the general public to avoid dealing with unlicensed or illegal financial operators who lure unsuspecting people with promises of extraordinary returns on investment as bait and then defraud them. In a statement made available on the CBN website, the Financial Services Regulation Coordinating Committee (FSRCC) described the growing trend as worrisome, saying the increase in the activities of the illegal financial operators portend grave risk to public confidence and the stability of the Nigerian financial system. It consequently advised the general public to refrain from dealing with such illegal financial operators, urging them to visit the website of the CBN, Securities and Exchange Commission, as well as other relevant agencies to verify the registration and license status of such companies and schemes before putting in their money. The public is also advised to report any individual or entities suspected to be involved in such fraudulent activities to the law enforcement agencies. The management of the Central Bank of Nigeria says it has observed with concern the increased number of composed banknotes deposited by deposit money banks and requests for replacement of such banknotes by members of the public. In a circular to all deposit money banks last week, Thursday, the Director, CBN Currency Operations Department, Mr. Ahmed B. Umar, noted that the existence of composed banknotes in the economy falsifies the true value of the currency in circulation and can also be an avenue for fraudulent activities. A composed banknote is a banknote that is made up of several parts of different banknotes of the same denomination, put together with the intention of receiving value. The circular warned that with effect from April the 1st, any composed banknote discovered in the deposit of any deposit money bank shall attract a penalty of 400% of the value.
If someone calls or sends you a message that you have payment issues with your bank and requests that you reveal sensitive information, end the call and don't click. It might just be a scam. No bank will ever ask you for your personal identification number, PIN, mobile banking password, or your card verification code, CVC. Scammers always sound genuine, but don't fall for their bait. Don't respond to phony emails or SMS, and don't click on any dubious links. Even if the other party calls your date of birth or your BVN, don't give them your security details. If you suspect there's an issue with your account, the safest thing to do is go to your bank or call the number provided by your bank directly. Protect your bank details so no one steals your money. This message is from the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN.
Thanks for staying tuned, and if you're just joining us, you're watching from the CBN, a weekly program that brings to you reports and expert analysis of the actions, policies, and economic initiatives of the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN. Governor of the Apex Bank, Mr. Godwin Emefiele, in company of other dignitaries and stakeholders, on Saturday, April the 2nd, visited the National Arts Theatre Igomu, Lagos State, to assess the progress made so far in the ongoing renovation project, expressing optimism that the theatre shall be ready for commissioning by November. Details in this special report. Renovation of the edifice is at different stages of completion. Workers and contractors on site can be seen conferring and putting their expertise to work to ensure that the project is delivered in time. The National Theatre originally had a 5,000-seater main performance and event hall with a collapsible stage, 2 exhibition halls, a conference hall with 1,600 seats, and 2 cinema halls, all of which were equipped with facilities for simultaneous translation of 8 languages. The theatre in its heydays hosted dance, music, art exhibition, cinema, drama, and colloquium. The new National Theatre is expected to unlock the creative talents of hundreds of thousands of Nigerian youths. The 44-hectare land around the monument will be developed to host 4 different structures, each to serve as a hub for music, film, fashion, and information technology. In addition, there will be a welcome and visitor center, police and fire stations, and structured parking for up to 500 vehicles, among other things. The Minister of Information and Culture, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, Minister of Youth and Sports Development, Mr. Sunday Dari, Governor of Lagos State, Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, Chief Executives of banks and other critical stakeholders are present at this second visit of the CBN Governor to the site since renovation works started. They all expressed their excitement about the progress made on the project so far.
We have started the process of archiving hundreds of historical items that we found throughout the site. So on the table here we have examples of photographs of events from the years, publications from the 90s, publications from the 70s, up to the 2000s. You are not born then. Photographs of heads of states and ministers.
But inspecting the renovation of a structure this size is no joke. Minister of Information and Culture says there is no going back.
From what you see, you would not appreciate half of what has gone on. I think we have crossed the Rubicon, and by the time we come back, say in 2 months' time, we'll all see that a lot of work has been buried under.
CBN Governor Mr. Godwin Emefiele announced that the work is costing the Bankers Committee about $100 million as of the last estimate, encouraged, however, by the interest of foreign investors in the project.
For avoidance of doubt, this project is costing the Bankers Committee, by our last estimate, about $100 million. And I must say that, yes, $100 million is about $100 million or more will be invested in this project, but it is going to be business where the monies will be realized again. And I'm happy that foreign investors are already showing interest, and I want to place it on record that we have received inquiries even from the United States from investors who have said that they are interested in taking a look at not just the National Arts Theatre, but also the creative opportunities that we are developing around here. So I must say that this is exciting for us at the Bankers Committee and also at the Central Bank of Nigeria. Our target is that by the special grace of God, Mr. President will commission the new National Arts Theatre by November. And we are hoping that also on the day he commissions the new National Arts Theatre, he is also going to lay the foundation for the 4 verticals: the music, the movie, the IT, as well as the fashion hubs and all that. Yes, this is going to delay till that time because a lot of work on the environment is going on, dredging, reclamation, making sure that the water islands and everything are all put in place. And for information, every piece of land here, every structure that is going to be standing here will be standing on pile, almost, I understand, about 46-meter pile. So it is a very, very extensive work, but we believe also that by the time President is about buying out by May next year, he would come again and now recommission not just the National Arts Theatre, but the entire edifice comprising the 4 vertical hubs, so that there will be immense business opportunities, enough of tourism, enough of creative sector businesses that will be generated, not just for Nigerians, but particularly here for our youth who have shown a lot of creative talents, and we think we need to use this opportunity to harness it.
For his part, the Minister for Youth and Sports Development sees the National Theatre and the National Stadium, also in Lagos, as solid legacy projects to bequeath to the youth by the present administration.
The train station that plugs right into the National Theatre, that is big. That will open up an entirely new corridor for Lagos itself. The central bank governor, who has been dogged, when he got stuck, I knew the time he really got stuck, and he met Mr. President, and he was able to secure the necessary approvals. The Minister of Information and Culture, who is the landlord, although the Lagos government might want to contest that with you. There are 2 landlords here. But you also believed in the project, and that's why we could come this far. Because if you didn't sign off on it, we would not, even with the resources, will not be here. But also to thank everyone here, the Bankers Committee, the 2 gentlemen on my side, terrific guys. They've helped us in sports development. Mr. Shogun has developed one of the best sports industry policy documents, which we are leveraging on right now. But on behalf of Nigerian youth, because that's what really places me on this committee, because the greatest beneficiary of this project, apart from the generality of Nigerians, are the youth who will benefit from the virtual spaces, the clusters that will come, creative, entertainment, etc. That's important. But also as an added advantage, if you look at it from the theater to the National Stadium, it's a corridor. And the National Stadium, abandoned for 19 years, Surulere, is 65% ready. We hope that we can meet the mark in November to refit the terraces. We've done the tartan tracks, and 11-lane tartan tracks of international standard. We have a new football pitch. We have a new digital system in place already. The last phase is to refit the, 48,000 seats at Surulere. So we hope that by November, this entire corridor from this theater, the rail station, all the way to Surulere can all come together, and Mr. President can have a solid legacy project to bequeath to the youth of this country and the entirety of Nigerians. So I am excited about this, and we look forward to November when it will be completed.
Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu says the stakeholders had to put aside their differences to focus on the bigger picture of the development of a world-class creative hub that can boost tourism and add to the GDP.
You know, there's an event that is coming up in July, and if I dare mention that event, there's an entertainment event that we're taking to Atlanta. Lagos is actually, or Nigeria is actually going to Atlanta, the hip hop, award. They want to do and take over Atlanta for 2-3 days. But it's also because there's no place, like the national art that we will, so that will be the very last time that will happen. So subsequent years, we will be bringing America back here to the national, and the world, to the national, to the national art, the new National Art Theatre. You can see that there's a lot of restoration, there's a lot of new things, that are coming in. And I can assure you that it will be comparable to any, international space of this quality anywhere in the world. With the acoustic, with the design, with the finishing and everything, we will be standing toe to toe, with any other facility of this, internationally in the world. So we're truly, really grateful. We're grateful to Mr. President, who is the lead visionary, and who had said, I'm always very passionate, about the creative industry, the youth, and let's do something. And so what all of this is about is still about creating that enabling environment. This whole project will not do everything. There's still going to be a whole lot more in the years ahead that people still need to do. But we're breaking all the barriers, we're breaking all of the challenges that we have, and we're writing, this industry, this sector, we're writing their names in gold. All of the gentlemen and ladies that are here, believe me, you have donated, immense time, intellect, effort, to where we are. And we cannot but thank all of you, on behalf of, the entire industry, the entertainment industry, the tech industry, the fashion industry, and the youth who will be big beneficiaries of this. This in itself can further help us deepening, our GDP as a state, as a nation, and continue to, de-emphasize oil, as the only, source of revenue that we have, and we can begin to export, all of the talents, that will be coming out of this place to the rest of Africa and the world.
The new National Theatre project is a pilot scheme as the Bankers Committee has a long-term plan of setting up similar creative parks in Kano, Port Harcourt and Enugu, where startups and existing businesses can be incubated and rewarded for their creativity.
North, South, East or West, male or female, old school or millennial, rural or urban, the Naira is the same, and so is the e-Naira. The e-Naira is a legal tender issued by the Central Bank of Nigeria. So, let's embrace it. The e-Naira will foster financial inclusion, improve access to credit, facilitate cross-border remittances, and it's easier to transfer. E-Naira, same Naira, more possibilities. This message is from the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN.
Welcome back. This is from the CBN. The 32nd edition of the CBN Seminar for Finance Correspondents and Business Editors, held from the 23rd to the 26th of March in Akure, the Ondo State capital. There were paper presentations, colloquium, breakout sessions, and gala event during the course of the 4 days program. Presenting a seminar paper on infrastructure, economic diversification, and price stability was the lead consultant, Industry and Private Sector Development, ECOWAS Commission, Professor Ken Ife. Professor Ife, in his presentation, tried to show the qualitative link between infrastructure spending and borrowing, which, according to him, are critically important for the diversification of the Nigerian economy, and how those two, as well as exogenic factors such as crude oil prices, have severe consequences on price stability.
PwC says that by 2030, our GDP will go up to $1.64 trillion. Our population would have gone to 300 million. And then the same PricewaterhouseCoopers says that by 2050, our population will go up to 450 million and our GDP will be $6.4 trillion, comparable to Africa's own projection of $29 trillion. And that will make us the 10th largest economy in the world. So we're no longer talking about 20th largest economy, but 10th largest economy by 2050. Now let us see what this means. First of all, the global headwinds. We know that Russia and Ukraine is in everybody's mouth. And what it would affect, what it would mean is now pushed Nigerian Brent crude oil price to about 120, 130, 129, 130, although it's coming down again, but it's going up and down. All right, that is as at 9th of March. We know that there's a rising global inflation and, in fact, stagflation because of the fallout of 2020 COVID and the heavy borrowing by many economies. And then you've seen the Federal Reserve Bank saying that they're going to raise rates, but at the same time, America has even hit 8% inflation for the last 40 years, the highest in the last 40 years. And that means that there's more turbulence coming. We've seen the rising debt crisis and turbulence in the major markets because a lot of them are heading out to fiscal stress. We know that the continuing COVID-19 variants are still causing supply chain disruption in some areas, especially when it's flight dependent. We know that global insecurity and geopolitical conflict and tension around the world are the hottest point now is Russia, Ukraine. That's the hottest point, but there are others in the Middle East, many other locations. China's economy is slowing down. They're heading into a property debt crisis, and not even to talk about US-China trade war going on. Still hasn't abated. Nigerian economy, as we know, jumped out of recession in one quarter for some good reasons. All the things we've been talking about this morning, is what we had. We had massive quantitative fiscal and monetary policy coordinated intervention that pushed us out of recession in 1 quarter. Unlike in 2017, it took us 5 quarters. There was a reason for that. Right. Now, just to give you an idea, this is outdated, but it's just to give you some idea of why, what kind of relationships that exist. This is just a sensitivity analysis. In this macroeconomic model, it shows how influential an exogenic factor such as crude oil price could be, and this effect on GDP growth rate, exchange rate, inflation rate, policy rates, account balances, and budget balances. Just one item. I'm not even talking. I kept the production volume the same at 1.7 million barrels a day. Just toy with the price of crude and then see how it affects the rest of those macroeconomic variables. So when you look here, the production volume is kept constant. There's a base case for 2022, which was hoping to be around $80 per barrel. But look at what will happen if it was to go down to $70, $60, $50, what it would mean to all the macroeconomic variables. Or what will happen if it increased to 90, 100, 110, what it would mean to all the macroeconomic variables. But it is not even 110, it's 130, 120, it's much, much higher, it's even off this scale. But look at what could have happened. If it was going up, the growth rate would have been increasing from 2.9, 3.8, 4.7, 5.5, if every other thing was kept constant. And then the Naira exchange rate, the projections was that it was going to continue to come down if we are getting more oil. It will go down from $465 Naira to $1 to 458, 54, 442, 430, 425, going down if we are earning more. Okay, we're going to come to that. If the inflation would be trending down from expected 12.5 down to 11.7, 10.8, 10, if it was going high, it would have been coming down. The reality is different. The reality is that it's 15.6 6 or something. Then also policy rate, which is the central bank monetary policy rate, would have been going down as well with inflation. Okay? And then the current account balance would have been correcting to positive, should have stayed in positive territory, just as much as the percentage of GDP would have also gone up. And budget balance would be where it is. Now, this is very important actually. When you look at GDP in terms of primary indices, that is agriculture, industries, and services, those primary ones, you will now see that services, they're cruising at high altitude. And then there's a tug of war going on between agric and industries. I think agric is winning because agric is coming up at 29.9 and then 26 in the last figure. Then the contribution of oil and non-oil to the GDP. Now, I told you that we are a little bit more diversified than we've given credit to. Oil used to be 9.5%, and now it's gone down to 7.49%. And non-oil is coasting at 92.5%, 51%.
He analyzed the size of the infrastructure challenge in the country in comparison with other economies around the world, stressing the critical role infrastructure plays in foreign investment flows, wealth creation, employment generation, and sustainable poverty reduction, commending the CBN-initiated infrastructure company, Infraco.
One is that there are 3 existential problems facing Nigeria. The first problem is that we have asymmetric warfare in 6 geopolitical zones. And that means that 22% of our 2022 budget is for defense. 22%. So we are buying equipment and we are importing the equipment. Do we make gun? Is there any gun or bomb we make here? We are importing them. All right. Number 2 is, and if you do nothing, you will be overrun like Afghanistan. And I know half of us here won't even have a home to go to. Right. The second one is the COVID-19. COVID-19 was an existential problem, a matter of life and death. And then you have to do something because people are going to be dying. Then the third one is unemployment. So now I also took the debt sustainability issue and then addressed its relevance and everything on Fiscal Responsibility Act, quoting the various sections of the act that support what we need to know. And what, there are a few questions I asked you. Cost benefit analysis, the tenure of the loan, and how many, it should be 3%. The law says 3%. The law says it has to be long term. The law says you must have a cost benefit analysis. They say that the law says. But what the law says is not exactly matching what's going on, but there is hope.
That's the much we can take from the CBN this week. We shall bring you more excerpts from the CBN seminar in subsequent episode of the program. Remember, you can report unresolved banking issues to the CBN Consumer Protection Department through the email address cpd@cbn.gov.ng with relevant documents. Call the CBN Contact Center using the phone line +234 700 2255 226. Local call rates may apply. Send your inquiries and comments to the dedicated email address from the CBN at gmail.com. Follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter for updates and uploaded episodes of the program. We invite you to join us again next time. I'm William Misidada. Stay safe and bye for now.